Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's music to my ears. I love hearing every Friday morning when I come here to talk to you guys. Welcome. It is Friday, July 17th, 2015, and this is Super Organizer Universe Radio. I'm James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer, and I cannot believe it's already mid-July. I don't know where the time went. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? So I'm not here alone, of course. I have my trusty engineer, and he's here this morning. I want to say good morning to Mr. Brian.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
Thanks for joining me.
Oh, of course. I'm always happy to be here.
I actually think I'm joining you. I don't know. We're joining each other.
Let's join each other.
That's right. So Brian's here with me to help me out this next hour, as he always does. And I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I like to begin my shows with thanks and gratitude, and this is no exception. And today, for July 17th, I have a couple people I want to mention because I live in gratitude that all the folks in my life bring something to me that makes me me. David Benish. He is a brother from another mother. I've known him over 20 years, and he has so much to do with who I am in this act. I believe our lives are separated in 3 or 4 acts, and my second act, which I'm in right now, he had a lot to do with this from my first act. I would need a full hour to explain his impact in my life. Needless to say, I was able to correct my early 20s financial mistakes and fully recover. He introduced me to home ownership, and he's just overall a really good guy and someone who I care about very much. And I wanted to say thank you, and I live in gratitude that he's in my life. Next, I'll be seeing him this weekend. Monica Tucker. About 4 or 5 years ago, we had a casual conversation about doing half marathons. And she had been doing them for a while. And it was her exuberance that piqued my interest. But it was her you can do it attitude that sealed the deal. I always thought marathons and half marathons were like other people. Now, mind you, I was also in my 40s. And the way she talked about it really just made me go, wow, I think I'm going to try it. So at 41, I completed my first half marathon, 13.2 miles. Or 13.1 miles. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. I mean, harder than schooling, harder than raising children, whatever. It was one of the hardest things I ever did. But it was also one of the most rewarding. Whenever I look at my wall of mine, I did 3 of them, consequentially. I did 3 in a year and a half. Am I crazy? Like about every 6 months. And I look at my 3 medals and my 3 certificates on the wall, and I just smile. And what it did is it really put me on the path of I can do anything if I put my mind to it. And sometimes age is just a number. Now, mind you, a little insight after this. After my first one, that last half mile, I had hurt my ankle a little bit. And I saw the finish line, and I saw my friends and family that were there waiting for me. And I used every ounce of strength within me to make it to the finish line. And then I just collapsed. I'm sure I stunk and everything, but I collapsed, and I cried like a baby. And actually, when I saw the pictures they took as I was coming through, my face really said how I felt. But again, it was such a high. I was like, oh my God. After I was done, I want to do it again. I was like, okay, I want to do it again. Of course, I went home, soaked in a bathtub, took a Vicodin and like a Chardonnay, and then I went to bed. But after that, I was ready to do it again. It just goes to show that you put your mind to anything, mind over matter, and it's something you really want, do it. Also, it shows experiences outside your comfort zone sometimes are the best experiences of all. And then lastly, I just want to thank her because she just was great. And then lastly, all of you for tuning in, listening, tweeting, retweeting, sharing, liking. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This radio show is a labor of love for me. I love bringing it to you guys. I feel like I'm giving you some really good information. So hopefully you're taking away something from my shows and from my guests who are just my amazing guests who come on. So thank you so much for that. And again, without you guys, I really wouldn't be here. And you guys are helping, as I always say, raise me, because it takes a village to raise me. So thank you. So I'm going to give you some tips today, of course. And these tips can be found on my blog, thesuperorganizeruniverse.com. Thank you to all of you who actually follow my blog and like my posts and share them. Again, thank you so much. It's great. Here's one tip that I want to give you that is really, really the truth. Organizing is work. Get over it. There's a quote from Ann Landers, actually, of all people, that I really like. Opportunities are usually disguised as hard work, so most people don't recognize them. To be organized, it takes work. To be organized, it betters and opens up more opportunities for you. It takes work to organize. It does. It's not hard to do, but it does take some thought. And it's up to you, because you can control how organized you are or aren't. It takes work to set up systems and arrange rooms and set up filing systems and get their kitchen together. But once you begin, it's just the best thing on earth. It really is. And of course, another hard part of the organizing process, and we talked about this before, is continuing. So you get started, but you have to continue. I mean, you can't just stop. And believe me, once you do it and you continue and get over that bump of not doing it to doing it, oh my God, it just feels so good. Once you pass those two things of beginning and continuing, you are on your way. So organizing is hard. It's work, but it's good. Another tip I want to give you guys actually is something that I want to share with you. Talking about living in gratitude and making decisions. I'm going to share with you 3 decisions. Let me say that 5 times fast. 3 decisions that made my life better. These are 3 things that I did that are seemingly not really connected, but they kind of are, because they've made me go in directions that bettered my life. One is saying yes to doing background on the TV show House. What's funny was I always kind of wanted to do TV and radio. But I didn't really know how that really works. I didn't really want to go into become like an actor and try the whole grind. I wanted a job that made money, like security. But it was always something I kind of wanted to do. So I went to a dinner party with a friend at the Magic Castle. And I flew down from San Francisco and my friend Sharon. And we went and we had a great time. And one of the dinner guests at that table, I met and hit off, her name is Shannon Speaker. I love you, Shannon. She was a second AD, I believe, on House. And she said to me, James, you should be on television. And I heard it before, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's kind of funny. Sure, of course you should be on television. She's like, no, you should be on television. I'm like, well, that's nice of you. Thank you. She's like, no, I can get you on television. So again, opportunity knocked. And I was like, yes. I opened that door wide open. I was like, okay, you sure? What can you do? I'll fly down. What can you do? And she's like, I can get you on as a background person. I didn't know much about background or what that really meant. And I have another friend who was living in LA at the time who did background. So what's funny was, I said yes. We exchanged emails and phone numbers. I go back to San Francisco. Life happens. A year later, this is how funny how the world works. My friend Mark, who was doing background on House, mentions my name, James Lott Jr., for whatever reason. And she's like, oh, I know him. I was trying to get him on the show. He contacts me, and we set it up, and I fly down to do episode 4 of season 4 of House. And it was such an amazing experience to see the background and how everything works. And I was in the holding area. And it was just a whole new experience for me. And it really, really, really taught me that anything's possible, right? I'm this guy in San Francisco just kind of toiling along at my job. And now I'm talking to Hugh Laurie, who, by the way, here's a little fun fact, spoke in an American accent the whole time on the set. He's British. If you didn't know that, he's British. And he's actually really tall. So it was really nice to meet him. He was a very nice guy. So they put me in a scene right behind him. And I learned how to pantomime act, which is basically you move your hands in your mouth, but you don't say anything. And they gave me this like fake food. It was so much fun. I did 9 scenes. I learned what crossovers were and foreground and background crosses. And I mean, it was such a great thing, and lighting. And it really actually led to stuff that I'm doing today. So thank you for Shannon, all that, opening that door for that. Number 2, picking up a paintbrush. I always thought that painting was for somebody else also. Isn't that funny how you see things, you go, I would love to do that. I probably can't do that. That's people like that, quote unquote, can do that. And you just kind of put it aside. Well, my stepmother at the time, who's a wonderful artist, and I admired her work. I had talked to her and I had said, yeah, I kind of want to paint. I just don't know what, I don't know what to do. And she was like, then paint. Let's just sit on that for a second. I'm talking about painting and I'm afraid to, and I don't know what to do. And she's just like, just paint. Those 2 words were just so simple. It was just like, she's right. Just paint. It has nothing to do with the right way or not the right way. It's just paint. And I got me a stretch canvas, and I got some colors, and I just sat there and I just said, okay, come through me. And I painted some of my early stuff's very simplistic, but I'm very proud of it because I overcame a fear. And it represents so much more in life because I overcame something. So picking up that paintbrush was wonderful, and now I paint all the time. And I hope to have a show one day. And I have a title called Overcoming the Fear of a Paintbrush. And so I really want to show people that overcoming, again, going outside your comfort zone, and it's something you've always wanted to do, don't discount it. Don't count yourself out. Don't not do it. So do it. And the third thing was going to the Caribbean for my 38th birthday. I was one of those people who never took vacations. Okay, now you work hard, you get a vacation, right? So what am I not doing? Not taking vacations? Completely wrong. You need a vacation. You need to take time off. You need to take time off. It's so, so important. And so my stepmother at the time, same one who told me to just paint, also got me to take a cruise to the Caribbean. So we set up an 8-day cruise. She was a master cruise handler. Like, she knew all the stuff. She knew what to do. I just said, just tell me what to do, what kind of money you need. I went and got my first passport, which was a lot of fun. That picture I have, it's crazy. Maybe one day, if you guys are lucky, I'll post it on Throwback Thursday. It's a little scary. But anyway, so she set it all up, and I took 2 weeks off. And I was so nervous, like, what about the job? And I got all this work to do. And actually, my boss at the time was like, yeah, take a vacation. The job's not going to fall apart. The work will still be there. You need a vacation. That's what it's here for. You need to re-energize. You need to regroup. And so I booked my tickets. We actually flew to Miami first. Love Miami. And then went to Puerto Rico. Loved it. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Just beautiful place. Best time, best food, everything. And then we sailed out of Puerto Rico and did 6 islands. Went to Antigua, went to St. Kitts, went to Barbados, which I really love Barbados also. Went to St. Lucia, went to a place called Dominica, and I feel like I'm blanking out on one more. But either way, the whole point was that it was such a great experience. I had the best time. I didn't think about work. I focused on just taking trips, just enjoying the trip. That's a novel idea. And after that experience, I started taking vacations every year. I usually go to the Caribbean once a year. That's like my big thing. During the winter times, it's not hurricane season, and it's just beautiful. I mean, I've been to like 13 islands at this point. I loved Bahamas, and I mean, this place is just, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Grand Cayman Islands, just great stuff. But the bigger lesson was, you need to re-energize. You need to regroup. You need to get off the track every once in a while. Even like my jobs now or my passion, it's still, you don't want your passion to become something that you don't like anymore. You don't want it to stop becoming fun. So you need to take time off. And so now that I just tell everyone, you need to take time off. Vacations are very important. So that was one of the best things I ever did, was going to the Caribbean for my 38th birthday. So those were the 3 things that I did that changed my life forever. And you can find this, of course, on my blog, superorganizeruniverse.com, and on my page on Facebook, which is / the Super Organizer. And I'll probably share some more as the show goes along. There's more things that have changed my life that were just kind of, like I said, seemingly separate, but they all have a through line. So this is very important. I just tell everybody, please think outside the box, think something different, and take time off. Sometimes fear is good, but to live in it is not good. To overcome it is great. How's that? I just thought that up. Isn't that great? I need to write that down. So is it my first guest is here? Okay. So my first guest, I'm going to have on for several segments. I'm really excited to have her. She is a New York-based professional organizer. And she is also the head of Organizing Buzz, and her name is Lisa Gessert. Lisa? Lisa, are you there?
Hi, I am. Hi, how are you?
Hello, Miss Lisa. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, and I want to first thank you for inviting me on your show.
Well, thank you for accepting my invitation and coming on.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for the support. And, of course, all my New York peeps. I always have to, hold it down for New York. I love my New York people. I came from a mother from New York, so I'm always like, anybody from New York, you got to be on my show.
Well, I'm lucky for me that I am based in New York.
Yeah. And so now I was telling folks that you are a professional organizer based out of New York. So where exactly are you based?
I'm actually in Staten Island.
Ooh, okay. And how's it?
Yeah, it's about 20 minutes out of the city.
Yes, that's one of the few boroughs I've not been to yet.
Oh, really?
I know. I haven't gone down there. I mean, I've been to all the. I finally went to Queens for the first time after 100 years. I had never been to Queens. I was like,
Staten Island is up and coming.
No, actually, that's right. And actually, I have heard that. It's just, it's one of those things where you go back to see family, you go where they are.
Yep.
My family's in Brooklyn or Manhattan, so I kind of, I did that. So
Absolutely.
So how long have you been in business?
Wow. I'll take you way back to 1999.
Ooh, okay. I like that, 1999. Okay. So that's about 16 years. Wow.
It's a long time. I was working at a job I wasn't happy in. I was getting divorced and had 2 small children.
Wow.
And I wanted to do something I love. So somebody asked me, what is it that you love to do? And it boiled down to organizing.
Wow.
Yeah, and lo and behold, I found NAPO online.
Okay, I was going to ask you, yeah. So I was saying, because back then, 1999, organizing wasn't a big thing as it is kind of now.
No, it wasn't. And I'll tell you the truth, I found NAPO, and Julie Morgenstern was holding a one-day seminar to find out whether the business is for you, because a lot of people like to be organized, but don't want to organize other people's homes.
Yeah.
I went to that seminar and never looked back. It's just been a whirlwind of up and down, of organizing, of doing different jobs, but always coming back to doing what I love.
Well, Julie's book was one of the first ones I read. Actually,
Me too.
Yeah, so I know I love her. I'd love to. Julie, come on my show. If you're listening, come on my show. I'm one of the first books I read. I mean, comprehensive, great book. I still have it in my collection, and so it's when you saw her live. So how was she live?
She was fabulous. She was informative. I made my decision to move forward because of her.
Wow. I'm very
she's
envious.
Very down to earth, very honest about how she started and where and why. And I've used a lot of her tools with my own clients.
Wow. So you said you're like me. You're at a job you didn't like, and so can you say what career that was that you came out of?
I worked in a tile company on Staten Island, and in the back office, just, secretary, receptionist. I said, there has to be more to life than this.
Yeah, right. Even though my grandmother used to always say that if you could type, you'd always have a job. She's always telling me that back in the day. And so I learned how to type. I've been secretaries and what they call administrative assistants now, but back in the day, there were receptionists and secretaries. And
yes.
Exactly. And
exactly.
So you had a job.
Exactly. And that's what I did most of my early working years.
Yes. Now, it sounds like you said you were going through a divorce, you had kids. What gave you the courage? That's something that, to step out and say, I'm going to change my career and do something that's kind of on your own.
Yes. Yes, I stayed in the position for a while to get this going. I started off, the name of the company was Administrative Solutions. So I would go in and help other companies as well, just, maybe with the databases or filing systems. And it just took off. It just, this past year I started organizing .buzz just under a different name.
Yes.
I came off a VP position in a corporation, and I just had to go back to doing what I loved.
Wow. We're going to talk about what I love from you. We're going to talk about a few of these. I love your 11 tips to create a workspace that you'll love.
Oh, thank you.
And so we're not going to talk about, obviously, all 11, but there are a couple that I highlighted that I want to ask you about. We'll talk about a little later. But because workspace, because work, most of us at work sometimes more than we are at home, aren't we?
That's true.
Isn't that funny? We spend more hours.
That's very true. And then I have a lot of home-based offices that I help, organize them as well. But, heading off to work and doing all of that and getting it done and coming home, and it's a lot.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, actually, the home-based stuff, because that's actually happening more and more, too, now, telecommuting and all that. I'm sure has it increased for you, more home-based?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even people who aren't working, just keeping your regular files, your tax papers, your receipts, for anything, that's up and coming as well. Everyone has a little home-based office, whether you're working or not.
Well, you're right. Actually, you're right. Especially like housewives, they usually have a whole little section of bills and receipts and all that kind of stuff, and children's stuff.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's so funny. Now, what is one common thing you find that you have to kind of tackle when you do home-based offices and businesses?
People tend to file alphabetical, and I like to create a file system that is category. So if you
Me too.
haven't your Easy Pass, your car payment, your whatever is pertaining to auto, I like making one category, auto, and everything goes in there.
Me too.
Home, everything goes in there. So, I've run into a lot of people just alphabetizing A to Z and no categories.
Do you find when you alphabetize, it takes longer to find stuff?
I do.
I figured, right. It's like, you're looking for that specific name of the company.
Yes, and then you're not sure which you put it under. So I just think categories. If you're looking for anything auto and you filed it under auto, it'll be there. That's just easy.
I'm all for simple. I tell my clients all the time, I'm like, we don't make it complicated. I always say to them, because another thing that I really, 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 really like about you from doing research on you is that you're like me, where you're about uniqueness. And where you actually say that in your literature and stuff about uniqueness and finding it. Well, one thing you say is discovers what's the best method of organizing will be based on what works best for you.
Correct.
I like that. I'm the exact same way. There's no one size fits all. It has to be very unique. So talking about what we're just talking about right now, with filing, I'm always like, okay, well, what would you think you remember it at? What's the simplest way to remember it? If it's car, then write down car. You know what I mean? Because people think you should have something fancy, right?
Yeah, people tend to make it more harder than it has to be. You really should tailor it to something that would be more fun and easy.
Mm-hmm. I agree. No fancy words or anything. If it's like this is house tools or house house media, that's all I get. Just write that down so when you got to look for it, it's gonna be there. I like
then that. You're in trouble.
You're right, exactly. Right, he's a little fancy. I'm like, no, to keep it simple. Simple is fine. Simple is okay.
Exactly.
That's gonna
exactly.
Okay.
Everybody, everyone's different. So uniqueness is key.
I completely agree with that. And so we'll talk more a little bit about that, but I want to ask you again, kind of, so how did organizing with the capital Z Buzz come about?
Well, I just thought that the word buzz is big right now, and buzz to me is all about wording and what's happening and what's the buzz. So the whole organizing.buzz thing just stuck. I'm not quite sure if it came from any other place than that, but I like the sound of it.
I like that. And where did the capital Z come from?
just like a zing. It's organized zing.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of fun. I like the way it looks there. And I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. It stands out.
Thank you.
Which is very important, right? In today's age, you got to stand out.
Absolutely.
And
you have different types of organizers. You know that as being an organizer yourself, that people who tend to work just with the elderly or just with kids. Mine is mostly for business.
Which I like.
Home-based organizing, organizations.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk about time management, and you're a space management company? I like that.
Yes.
Because obviously in offices, how things are set up, very important.
It's very important. You have 10 people going into a filing cabinet. You need something that's going to work for all 10 of them. Mm-hmm. So it's challenging, but it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Now you do work with you do group work and one-on-one. Is there one you like better? No. I was like choosing two children, but I mean,
I think I like working with the group a little bit more.
Oh,
because
really?
They get that aha moment of if I chime in with this person, she's really good at doing this. They get to know each other a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I do like the groups.
And with group facilitation, I mean, how is that? I mean, you must have some specific, methods that you use to kind of teach, because everybody's different; they learn differently.
Yes. Well, I teach. I'm a facilitator of the real colors training. It's an assessment tool.
Oh, okay.
So it's more of a personality assessment tool, and so I'll take the group through that first to see what color they are.
Okay.
And there are 4 main category of colors, and everyone is different. So once they start realizing who's good at what, who's not good at this, I'll go to this person for filing, this person's great at math. It teaches a group, their strengths. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's usually my tool with everything. I'm actually going to be presenting a workshop for NAPO in Concord, California in November.
Northern California. You're going to be my side of the world.
Yes. I'm actually taking organizers through this workshop.
Ooh.
This will help them in organizing their clients.
Oh, okay. How many days is it?
It's just November 6th and 7th, and just one workshop on the 7th.
Oh, off. I almost said off camera, offline. Send me some stuff on that. Actually, send
absolutely.
me an email on that. That'd be very interesting. I was like, yeah. So now hold on, Lisa. We got to pay a few bills. But we'll have you back for the next segment. So everyone, we're talking to Lisa Gessert of Organizing Buzz, and we'll be back with Super Organizing Universe Radio.
Like that. At highway speeds, the average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts, stopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Ozzy Osbourne. For many years, I've had a drink problem, and I'm trying to battle that problem every single day. But one thing I don't drive my car when I'm drinking. I get someone to drive me. Do not drink and drive. It's the stupidest thing. If you drink, just don't drive. Not only are you going to hurt yourself, you may hurt some other person, and you wouldn't want that on your conscience, would you?
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Tropicana Bakery and Cuban Cafe. Come and experience our sweet tradition of sweets, pastries, and incredibly delicious Cuban food. At Tropicana, we offer a bohemian, nostalgic-like atmosphere. In Spanish, we say, es la hora de tertulia de café, which is the moment of drinking coffee and having a great time with friends and family. At Tropicana Bakery and Cuban Cafe, we have an array of exquisite coffees. We have an array of desserts, of pastries, empanadas, sandwiches, and Cuban food. Come to Tropicana Bakery and be blown away by the Caribbean-like atmosphere and flavor profile. Tropicana Bakery and Cuban Cafe is located in the city of Downey. The address is 10218 Paramount Boulevard, virtually on the corner of Paramount and Florence.
You might know me, I'm 50 Cent. You may follow my tweets, my Facebook friends. Odds are fewer than 6 degrees separate us. We're that close. What's crazy is 1 in 6 don't know where their next meal is coming from. These are your co-workers, your neighbors, your friends. Hunger's too close for us to ignore. So visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank to see how you can make a difference. From one close friend to another, let's do this. I'm 50 Cent, and together we are Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. My webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
I'm a champion, real-life checks mechanism. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hi, Shaquille O'Neal for Rad. This is not your normal PSA. Don't be stupid. Don't drink and drive. If you're gonna go out and have a good time, it's fine. But designate a driver to drive home. Let's stop the madness. Don't drink and drive.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Super Organizer Universe Radio. I'm James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer. Yes, the Super Organizer. And I am joined with New York-based professional organizer and founder of Organizing Buzz, Lisa Gessert. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, James.
All right, so let's get into some of the tips that she does. Like I said earlier, she has a thing called 11 Tips to Create a Workspace That You'll Love. And I want to go through all the 11, of course. I mean, I need like 2 or 3 hours to do that. But there's a couple ones that I highlighted that I want to talk to you about that I think I found very, very useful. Okay, one, which is number 1 on your list, and I completely agree with this. It is clearing everything off your desk. I mean, inside, clear it all out. Empty every drawer, everything. And then assess what you need and only put back the bare essentials. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yes. Usually when I'm going in to organize somebody's desk, it is a disaster. So if you start picking here and there, it's not as effective as if you take everything out of that space and just put back the necessary. Mm-hmm. Eventually, most of the things will go back in order. This gives you a clear slate to work with.
Mm-hmm. I like the actual kind of what that represents, actually, clearing everything off.
Yeah, it's like clearing everything bad out of your mind.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great metaphor. It's just kind of like take everything out and like really look at it. And see.
It's the same way I handle a closet. Take everything out and then put back everything that you're going to need. It's just clearing it out. I like it.
I do too. That's a great one. I like that one. Another one you do, it's number 6 on your list, and you even say this is really important. Mm-hmm. Where is the be back at 11 a.m. sign? You need alone time to get to emails, calls, paperwork. You need to designate a specific time, and you also mentioned at home too.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
It's expand on that.
I gave a time management workshop once, and everyone was saying, well, how do I get people to stop bothering me? I have to get to my emails, my chores, my tasks. And the only thing you can do is hang a sign on the cubicle door. You have to be adamant about it. There's no easy way out other than to say from 11 to 12, I'm not in. There has to be some kind of fine line drawn, a boundary of when you get your personal stuff done.
Mm-hmm. Now, the key, I guess, would be you got to find a time. Obviously, it's not when the morning meetings happen or
exactly.
Right? You're like, I would do it at 11 to 12. And they're like, okay, we meet at 11:30. Like you can't do that, right?
Right. If you know you can get a bunch of stuff done 8 to 9 a.m. before everybody starts coming in, or,
Mm-hmm.
that's great. But during the day you're going to have some of that time to make calls, get back to emails. And if you schedule that on a daily basis, people will get into a habit of knowing that, okay, I know that she's not here from 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to kind of put up the boundary.
It's about training people how to treat you.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. It's harder for the people who work at home. There are more interruptions, I think, with doorbells ringing or kids,
Yes.
in the background.
Yes.
So that's a little harder to work with. But even then, setting up a certain time every day, people get used to that. People will, in their mind, go, "Oh no, it's 2:00. I can't bother her now."
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good plan to be able to get back to your, emails and phone calls.
And I also like to say that sometimes, in my experience, I have found that some school age and middle school kids, they actually appreciate routine. Of some level. So I guess, like you say, sometimes the interruptions are, the kids are like, I need some food, or she hit me, you know how that is, right? If you have multiple kids.
Oh, yeah.
So you're saying, so people who are listening are like, well, I'm a single mother, or I'm or my husband works, what do I do? I think sometimes
it's a lot more challenging.
Yeah. But it can be done, though. We're saying it can be done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You just have, like you say, routine.
You got to figure it out. But I think kids sometimes they like to know what's going on, and so that could really help. But I like that. I was like, especially at home. It's like I actually have. I'm not going to say which hotel chain, but I did take one of the Do Not Disturb signs with me. It was really fancy. Years ago.
That idea.
And years ago, and I have it, and I put it up when I'm in my home office, because I have a home office, or when I'm doing. Sometimes I do. Skype calls, or I have clients, my life coaching clients are online. I put it in front of the door and close the door so that people in the house know, oh, he's busy in a call, or he's busy doing that. So not recommending anybody start stealing these things from hotels, but I happen to have one, and it works for me.
I like it.
And actually, I got the idea when I started going to school online, and it was a teleconference school, and so for an hour and a half I had a class, and so I needed to be completely silent. And so I had to kind of...
People don't know. It's like when you leave the house angry, you're not wearing that sign that says, oh, I had a crappy morning. So it's the same thing. People don't know. They come and ring the bell.
They
so
come
if you
and ring the bell. That's right.
They'll know it.
That's right. Now, number 9 was interesting. And I kind of... It was very endearing. I like this one, actually. Where is that one photo that when you look at it brings you calm and makes you smile? Frame it and put it on your desk space. Is it a picture of your husband, partner, kids, favorite niece or nephew, pet? It's funny, and the last thing you say in that sentence, that statement is, I think making the space you is important. It will ground you, remind you of what's important in life. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think there has to be some personalization, especially even when you're not at home, when you're working at an office, and it's such a cold environment, or it can be, and putting something personal, making it yours is it's nice. It's just cozy.
And it's funny because here at my radio station, I didn't bring them today because I'm actually going out of town after this. But I normally bring my Darth Vader dolls.
Oh.
And they sit with me. They make me happy.
That's different.
They make me happy. I have 3 of them. They watch me while I do my radio show every Friday here on AdrenalineRadio.com. So when you said that, I was
love it.
When I said that, it's like, because I was told that by actually another radio personality. It's like, bring stuff that makes you feel comfortable while you're in the studio.
Absolutely.
So transferring that into an office space, especially going with if you're at the office 10, 15 hours a day.
Right.
Wouldn't it be nice to see some? Okay. Oh, actually, I was going to ask you, do you have anything on your desk that reminds you of something nice?
I have. Well, I work from home,
Yes.
but I have a clear desktop, like a blotter.
Okay.
And I have pictures of all the kids, my husband and I, family, and that cheers me up.
Yay.
But yeah, so I put in photos all the time under this clear kind of blotter on my desk.
Oh, I like that. That's good. But I think it's such a nice and endearing thing. But it's so true. Like sometimes it's like just the little things that will brighten yourself when you're having that phone call that got on your nerves, or that person that made you roll your eyes 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
You could look down and go, okay.
Even just putting some flowers on the desk,
Yes.
or just something cheerful, something cozy.
I agree. Actually, another thing, I keep quoting my grandmother, may she rest in peace. She brought up the whole thing of sometimes you should buy flowers for your home.
Mm.
So it's kind of the same. The same. What you're saying is kind of the same.
Yeah.
It's just once in a while you should just get flowers. Get flowers for them in your home. It just makes the home, makes that room look nice for a minute, or just whatever. So I like that.
Yeah, it really does. I don't know. It personalizes it anyway.
Now, number 11, which I like a lot, because I just before you came on was talking about when I first started taking vacations.
Uh-huh.
But this is also on a smaller level, but it's still huge. You speak of breaks, taking work breaks, take a walk, read an article, stretch, anything that give you a few 10-minute breaks during the day. It will allow you to get back to work and be more productive during the day. They're like mini vacations. So can we talk about that a little more?
More so lately, have been starting my days with a run.
Oh,
so
okay.
On those runs, that fuels me for my day.
Yes.
And I think of all ideas. All my best ideas come when I'm running. And then you sit down and you get to work at a computer, and you can get lost in that world at work, and you're researching things online, and you have to, I even tell people and clients to set a little clock, a reminder of every hour or so to get up and walk around. Because you can get so involved in everything that you're doing online that you just don't.
Right.
It's important. It's so important. And like in my statement saying, like little mini vacations, if you get up, walk away from the work for 10, 15 minutes if you can. It just gives you that break, and you could refresh and get back to work and be more productive.
I agree. That's something that I also had to, because I did a lot of spreadsheet work over my jobs. I used to do a lot of spreadsheets, and you stare at the computer screen, and then you really 4 hours go by, and your eyes hurt, your butt hurts, everything, your hands hurt. I mean, everything hurts. It's like you need to get up, and I know it's not. I know they always say too, for computer screens, you should always look away every hour. So anyway.
Exactly, I've heard the same.
Yeah, so I think that's such an important. Breaks are so important. The work will be there.
Oh, and you know it.
but it's so funny, in my earlier career, I didn't know that. For some reason, I didn't get it. I was just like, well, I gotta get this done. I gotta get it. I'm like, no, the work's gonna be there. It's not going nowhere. So step up for 10, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. Stretch. Look away. So I think it's such a great tip for people. And now, when you're working from home, obviously, it's a little, I guess it can still be the same, I guess. I mean, you could be at the computer for 2 or 3 hours.
Sure. During the day, I get out, I take the dog for a walk, and then get back to work. You have to take those little breaks. They really do help. I can't stress that enough.
So what are two kind of tips you can give my listeners about creating a great workspace for themselves that they can take away at least?
Well, one thing we did talk about is making it yours, and making it easy. People don't want to organize because they don't like the process. It's not fun.
Oh, yeah.
If you put a little fun in it, if you put a little zing to it, sitting down at that desk, you'll have a different kind of attitude. I believe that's true.
You want a desk that's inviting, that makes you want to sit there, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
you just
like that.
You just don't want to sit there, and people want it to be fun. They don't want non-fun. They want something easy, fun, let it get done with, and let's go home.
Right.
Let's get on with life.
Now, I was going to ask you this earlier, but I forgot. So, what color are you? Have you taken the personality test?
I am gold, and 99% of our organizers will be gold. Because they're very organized, very detailed, oriented people. Yes, going to do this presentation workshop in California for organizers, I realized that room is going to be filled with gold people. But those gold people need to learn how to deal with the blue, the green, and the orange folk. So that's what I'll be there teaching them.
And what is one way that you prepare yourself for other golds?
I'm sorry, for what?
Because you're going to meet because you're basically going to be talking to other golds, and you're a gold yourself.
Oh,
so
gosh.
I'm sure it's different than talking to blues and greens and everything, but these are other golds.
Yes, well, I have to I'm talking to myself. What do I want? I want detailed people. I want people on time. They're very organized. They're very organized. They're very in control.
Yes.
They like to be in control. So.
Yes. Now, I ask my guests the same two questions, always. And so I'm going to ask you the first one.
Okay.
And it is, what word should be eliminated from our vocabulary?
Hate.
Ooh, good one. And that's in so many different levels, right? Like, I hate organizing. I hate my job.
Yes.
I hate
I don't like that word. I hate that person, or I hate that neighbor, or I hate that dog. The word hate is just mean. I don't like that word.
Like that. And what word do you think we should add to our vocabularies?
My favorite all-time word that I have scrolling across my laptop is the word enough.
Oh.
I am enough. I am enough. I like me. I enjoy me. Life is enough. That's my favorite word, enough.
I like that. It has such great meaning.
I have that as a reminder every day.
Because we're always trying to strive.
Yeah, calm down. A little bit less stress. Just know you are enough.
Right.
And everything else will follow.
That's how I live. I love that. It's such a great lesson for people. Just remember, you're okay. You're doing okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
You are where you're supposed to be at any given moment, right?
Absolutely. I agree.
I love that. So, where can folks find you? If they were like, we're going to look for Lisa Gessert, where will they find you?
Well, if you Google my name, I'm all over the place.
You are. No, I did Google your name, actually, and I was like, wow, okay. Got some great research out of it.
Everything.
But yes.
I've done it all, and it's great. You can find me at Lisa Gessert at organizing.buzz. That's my email, or www.organizing.buzz at my website. I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And I travel, so give me a call.
She is for hire, folks. She is for hire. And, of course, on my page, I've been putting some stuff with you on it, and I'll put some more links to her so you can find her also through my Facebook page, Super Organizer, and my Twitter page, the Super O, of course, and, get you out there. Love it.
Thank you. That would be terrific. Thank you, James.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Lisa, for coming on. Such great stuff for the workplace. You're doing some great work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me, James. It was a pleasure.
And you have a great weekend, and we'll talk on the interwebs.
You bet.
Take care.
You take care, James.
Bye. So we're going to take a little quick break, and then we'll be back with the last part of Super Organizer Universe Radio.
Hey, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers for RAD. I'm here to remind you that drunk drivers are still a major killer of young adults in this country. So always choose a designated driver, and remember, music lives, you should too.
Getting born in the state of Mississippi, Papa was a copper and the mama was a hippie.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, everyone. This is Chuck Harold with my co-host, Tally Ho Bristow, from Security Guy Radio. Regard is a verb, not a noun. Every Monday night at 7 p.m., we challenge the conventional wisdom of the security industry with our plain talk experience, humorous stories, and answers from the top security experts in the field. Tune in each week for the latest security news, enlightening interviews, and a look at a featured security gadget or service.
Join us on the web at securityguyradio.com.
And listen every Monday night at 7 p.m. exclusively on AdrenalineRadio.com.
Do you love leather? Do you own a piece of fine leather furniture? Do you love the way it feels when you sit in it? Do you want to keep it that way? Because my name is Chris Lawler, and I own Leather Care Services. I'm in the business of restoring and maintaining leather furniture so that you love it as much in 10 years as you did the day that you bought it. Call me at area code 562-693-7676. Remember, Leather Care Services, saving cows one hide at a time.
While cutting molding with a 12-inch dual compound miter saw, while holding a newborn baby in your arms, when face-to-face with a congregation of alligators, with the ball in your hands and the entire freaking season on the line.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? NASCAR driver Casey Kane here, asking you to please stop the text. And together, we can stop the wrecks.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Get the message at stoptextstopwrecks.org.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Los Pollos, home of flavored down-to-the-bone chicken. As we say in Spanish, el sabor hasta el último huesito. At Los Pollos, we serve delicious Cuban/Mexican marinated chicken. We are cooking our chickens in rotisserie ovens to give you a well-seasoned, well-marinated, well-cooked, delicious chicken. We have 3 locations to serve you. In the city of Bell, we are located in 6201 Atlantic Avenue on the corner of Randolph and Atlantic. In the city of East LA, we are located on 5161 Pomona Boulevard on the corner of Atlantic and Pomona Boulevard. And in the city of Downey, we are located on 7940 East Florence Avenue in the corner of Paramount and Florence. Come to Los Pollos and experience the most delicious chicken that you'll ever have the pleasure of eating.
We are back at Super Organizer Universe Radio. I'm James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer.
Can I share something with you real quick?
Oh, please do. Please, Brian, share something.
This is my favorite bumper.
I like this one too a lot.
You're the only show that uses it, and
Yay.
I was so excited when he said, yes, let's use that one for my
I
show.
love this one. I want to put lyrics to it. I really do.
It's like 80s music, right? Like,
it is. And I'm from the 80s, so it totally works.
I can only reminisce of what the 80s must have been like through movies. But
I lived it.
If I put anything together, it was scary in Miami because of Scarface, and it was awesome in the middle of the country with Breakfast Club, and then it was scary here in California with Blood In, Blood Out. So.
Oh my God! All you movie fans, you know what he's talking about. Obviously, I love the '80s. I think I'm a little stuck there. So this last segment, I'm going to share some organizing quotes that I actually really like that I found on the web. Some of these I actually have who they're by, and some I don't. So I'm just going to read them to you because I like them. And I think sometimes quotes, sayings can be really useful in life, and just kind of, and these are things I'll post like on my walls or near my mirrors and kind of like to look at them. I'm a very visual person. I don't know if anybody's visual out there, but these things do help and affect my brain. One is, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. I'm sure you've met that one, but that's kind of it's a great metaphor of just like, I need to organize. Well, what are you waiting for? If you're already saying it, then this is your sign. Someone named Alejandra says, control your clutter or it will control you. And we've talked about this on the show before, and we'll talk about it again at some point, of course. Sometimes you really don't understand or really get, or you do get it, how much your clutter really controls your life. Controls how you sleep, eat, live, controls your time management or lack thereof. It really does permeate much of your life. And sometimes it's really subtle. And because once you get uncluttered or decluttered, or as we say, once you edit everything, you're like, wow, things start to open up and things feel better. And it's all about feeling, of course. Another one I like is, organized people are just too lazy to look for things. To me, that's hilarious. Because that's so true, because basically you know where everything is. If you're organized, you just go to it. And I like the whole kind of lazy thing there. Anne Burrell, who is a chef, and she's on many shows on the Food Network and Cooking Network, she says, organizing ahead of time makes the work more enjoyable. Chefs cut up the onions and have the ingredients lined up ahead of time and have them ready to go. When everything is organized, you can clean as you go. And it makes everything so much easier and fun. Completely agree. Food. I mean, any kind of food service. And I used to work in food service. You see them. They have sous chefs and assistant chefs who cut everything up, make sure all the meat's ready, to do everything is all in order. So while they're actually cooking, they can just go to it and cook. Can you imagine being in a kitchen during dinner rush and you don't know where the onions are, or they're not cut up, or the beef isn't ready, or or the chicken? I mean, it's so weird. Or the tomatoes, like you're trying to find out where are the tomatoes. Like you have tomatoes over here and then onions way over there. I mean, like it just would be a slow. You wouldn't get your food. Everybody was sitting there for 2 hours trying to get their food. So I kind of like that. That's kind of relatable. Andrew Mellon says, being organized isn't about getting rid of everything you own or trying to become a different person. It's about living the way you want to live, but better. I really, really, really like that one. Because, of course, when I say I'm an organizer, the first things people say is, you're going to try to get rid of everything. Like, that's not really it. And we're not trying to change you as like a person in general. We just want you to change the way you live your life in some ways, that is, so it can be a little better for you, so that it works for you. You can still be funny and sassy or strong, or all that stuff's still there. But if clutter and disorganization is making your life harder, then why not find a way to make it better? And I just love that. And you don't have to get rid of everything. That's not always the solution. Sometimes what I find many times in my clients is just misuse of space. I always tell the story how I find this over and over again. A chest of drawers. There are 5 drawers. The top one is filled to the gills. You can't even close it. Stuff's spilling out. The second one, just almost the same, almost as bad. You can kind of close it, but if you open it up, things will spring out. The third one, not as full. The fourth one, not as full. The last one, just 2 pairs of socks in there. Like, how does that happen? It's like somehow, because you're not organized, and a lot of times you go to the top 2 drawers, just throw everything in there because that's your eye line. That's what you do. You're like, I have no space. You forget about those 2 socks down the bottom because you never go down there because all your socks are on top. If you find a way to be organized and edit that situation, you can have a nice drawer, all these drawers that close. You have a drawer of socks, a drawer of underwear, a drawer of pajamas, whatever. I mean, you have 5 beautiful drawers that close and are organized. There's something to think about. I guess it's kind of funny. So a lot of times it's misuse of space. Also, kitchens are another place that, it's like there are 5 cans of old soup on one shelf, but there's 3 shelves filled to the gills of other cans and pastas, and you're like, I have no space in my kitchen. You do. Now, I do get that sometimes height is an issue. And on one of my future shows, we're going to talk about placement of stuff, because sometimes some people are either too short and you can't reach it, or you put things too high, you forget about them. So I'm going to have a show on that where we'll talk about kind of how all that works. But sometimes, again, the kitchen, same thing. Pantry, same thing. Bedroom. Those are places where it's just misuse of space. You have the space. You just don't have it set up correctly. So not about throwing it all out, just kind of making it nicer. And that concludes another Super Organizer Universe radio show we call Sour, but it's sweet. And you can find me on all the interwebs. I am on Twitter at the Super O, or Black Hope LA, and that's BLAKHOPELA. You can also find me on Facebook at James Lott Jr., my new fan page, and the Super Organizer. You can find my blog at thesuperorganizeruniverse.com. And, of course, the granddaddy of them all, my website, thesuperorganizer.com. And I also have another kind of job. Many of you guys know this now. I'm on AfterBuzz TV as one of their hosts for hire. I do about 1,000 shows for them right now, so I'm not going to list every single show that I do. But if you follow me on any of those spaces, you'll see I always post exactly what I'm doing and where I'm going. But it's a wonderful network of recap shows. And I think right now I'm doing about 6 or 7 of those. And so you can follow me on that also. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have a great week, and I will talk to you guys next week.